right, so I had kind of a poor experience with getting the front bumper fixed on my truck. But it's my fault, I would say. But it's a little bit disappointing, I guess, just from call it a contractor standpoint. Like when I see the unprofessionalism or whatever you want to call it, and just lack of care or lack of really, I guess, self-respect for themselves, but or accountability maybe would be the better wording. But basically what happened was I found a small business that actually comes out to your house to do body work and just nothing major, small touch-ups and dent repair and stuff like that, which I know obviously is not ideal. You want to be in a controlled environment and stuff when they're doing paint work, but also I didn't want to spend a ton of money knowing that I'm just going to put a lot of miles on this truck, and likely the front bumper is going to get chipped up again. I think I am going to do a PPF on it just so that it lasts a little bit longer. So, but basically I found this company. I spoke to the guy and sent him some photos of what the bumper looked like, and he shot me a price, which I was okay with, because I was gonna either get it fixed or I was gonna take it to a bed liner place and see if they could line X the front bumper and back bumper. Essentially, it was only I want to say it's supposed to only be $100 more to just repaint it versus doing front and back. That's not touching the back bumper, but it was $100 more to get the front bumper repainted than getting the front and back bumper Line-X'd. So obviously it's not the same scope of work, but the back bumper was fine. I just didn't want to have a black front bumper and a red rear bumper. I thought that would look goofy, so I was going to do both. So I decided to just spend the extra $100 or so and have the front bumper repainted, because I do think the color matched looks better than the black. I was just trying to avoid having this issue again, but I think putting a PPF on it will help avoid that. So with that being said, I scheduled the work to be done, sent the guy my paint code, everything. He had called me back, said he's going to go get the paint code or paint mixed, and that I had to put a deposit down. When it came time for deposit, it was $20 more than what he said total, and I was like, all right, well, whatever, that's fine. So I sent him the deposit. He went and got the paint. Calls me back later that evening and starts telling me how the paint, was more money than what he expected. It was a 3-stage paint versus just a regular paint. They weren't expecting Ford to use that. It cost, more money than what they thought it was going to, and, they need more money if I can help them out. They're basically begging me for a little bit more money, which, being a small business owner myself, I'm not saying that the paint didn't cost more than they expected. That's very possible. I'm sure that kind of stuff happens. But me being a small business owner, there's been times that I've quoted jobs and then I realize, okay, this is more work than what I thought it was going to be. I don't ever go back asking for more money. I kind of chalk it up as a loss, learn from it, and I kind of chalk it up as I should have done a better job quoting versus this is the customer's fault, let me go get some more money. I just think it leaves a bad taste. It looks unprofessional, and the reality is, if I would have done a better job quoting, I would have known what that cost was. And in this situation, obviously I'm not a body guy, or I would have been doing it myself, but I think putting myself in his shoes, I would have probably got the paint quoted, then quoted my customer, so that I'm not going back to him asking for more money. I wanted to say, forget it, I'll find somebody else, but I was kind of getting that sketchy feeling that, I don't know, I wasn't thinking I would get my deposit back was the big issue. So I figured, okay, my choice is to either pay him this extra $100 he's asking for, or he's probably not gonna send me back my deposit. So I went ahead, I told him, yeah, let's get it done, I'll give you an extra $100. So now it's 120 more than what they told me. Then I should have done this before, but I started reading reviews, and I started seeing that people were saying that they've done this, this exact scenario has come up, that they in other situations, they complete the work, then tell the customer that it's more money than what they quoted them. And other comments or bad reviews were like that they were unprofessional, that they looked like they just rolled out of bed, they were late, this and that. So kind of all that was true. Like, the guy, he was about 20 minutes late to the appointment, which I'm like, that doesn't bother me as much, because I know at least with my business, I don't ever give anybody an exact time that I'm coming, because there's too many variables. And if you tell somebody you're going to be there at 1 o'clock on the dot and you hit a little bit of traffic, some people will text you at 1:01 and ask if you're still coming. So I usually give at least an hour window, 1 to 2 p.m. we'll be there, that type of thing. And then that kind of gives you a little bit of buffer for traffic, or the previous job taking a little longer than what you had planned it taking, this and that. It just makes you look like you're not late. But I don't, like I said, that's another thing they probably could learn from if they're getting people complaining about it. Hey, give a window. The other thing was, he definitely did look like he just rolled out of bed. Sweatpants, hair all over the place. And I also get it, like, it's dirty work, you're painting and stuff like that, so you're obviously not going to wear nice clothes, but appearance definitely makes a difference. He had a nice truck, so I'll give him that. Like, he had the equipment, the nice truck. He was smoking, which I think a lot of times, like, when people smoke, they don't realize what it looks like or smells like to other people. But whenever I've had guys that worked for me that smoked, and I always tell them, do not smoke on customers' properties. If you need to stop after a job to go find some place to smoke, do it that way, basically. So I had, he realized right away that, like, because I had come out, I honestly wasn't going to say anything, I just wanted the work done. But he was like, oh, I'm not smoking in your garage, just so you know, because I had the garage door open. And I was like, well, you're standing right in front of the garage, like, in front of the garage door, you might as well be smoking in the garage. I don't really have anything in there that's, that the smell is going to really affect. So that part of it didn't really bother me. But then after it was all done, and I had to clean up, because, he did a poor job cleaning up. He left tape on the ground, towels, cigarette butts, like, that kind of stuff. I always tell my team, like, when we're done, like, let's say we're doing a gutter cleaning, clean up after yourself. Don't leave debris all over the place. Like, we need it to look like we weren't even there, type of thing. And that's kind of the standard that I think, any service business should be. Like, if you're coming to do some tile work at someone's house, like, you should not, leave a bigger mess than what was there when you came. I'm not asking you to clean up something that's not your mess, but definitely, you know, clean it up. As far as the work itself, I'm kind of torn. Like, it does look good. I'll throw up a picture. It looks a lot better than what was there, because what was there was the rock chips, and the rock chips were rusting. So I'm glad that that's gone. Does it match 100%? No, I can see it. If you're driving down the road, you're not going to be able to tell. And I think a lot of that is the truck is a 2019. It's like a maroon. So as far as like the paint match goes, I actually think it did okay. It's not quite as shiny as, you know, the factory paint, but I think I can add some wax and buff it and stuff, and it'll look good. I'm going to give it a little bit of time before I do that. But I guess just the main point of the video is just that while I'm happy that the bumper is in better condition than it was prior to the work, not exactly happy with the company. And I'll say this, I'm not going to add their information or anything like that, because I'm not looking to destroy them like that. I let them know how I felt already, you know, and that I thought that they were unprofessional in the way that they quoted and stuff like that. You know, and they were apologetic about it, and I think I might have scared them a little bit, because I wasn't happy at first, and I let them know that. But you know, overall, I wouldn't call them back. If I had work that needed to be done, they're not the company that I'm going to use. And it's not necessarily the quality of work, it's just the overall package. So not really a point to the video other than just my bumper's fixed, but it wasn't a great experience.